Brooks, hold on.
For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite-level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated. More often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand Podcast.
This is the ET Stand Podcast. And for those post-production, I wasn't planning on playing the intro, but somehow I got into it. We're going to do an opposition fan preview. We haven't done one of these for a little while, but it's finals time. The song's singing now in anticipation for a great Sharks finals run. Friend of the show and just general rugby league legend Adrian is joining us, calling himself the token Knights fan. Mate, at least sacking your coach, your team's finally a little bit relevant, aren't they? And we can get you on a show and talk to you about all things rugby league. What are you, sitting 16th?
I think we're sitting second last and chance for the spoon. We've got 2 tough games. We've got the Sharks away, and I think we've played Parramatta at home. Won 2 games all year at home, so that's not a certainty either. So another spoon, collecting another spoon. Not great. It's the wrong time of year to be talking about chats like a coach. Be talking about finals. So been a very ordinary season.
So the coach is on the way out. Why?
I don't know the inner workings of the club. If I was in charge, I probably would have got rid of him a little while ago, if I'm honest. It's just the season just has not worked out. I just don't know whether or not having him for another year would change anything. The team's actually gone backwards this year. So, yeah, I think it's the right thing to do. You could kind of tell in most of his press conferences over the last couple of weeks.
It's a bit broken.
They've been belted, and he just looked all sorts. He just had no answers. The team would put in effort for maybe, I don't know, a quarter of the game, and they just fell away. Like their defense, I think, in the last 3 or 4 games.
It's not good. 46-12, lost to the Broncos. 38-4 to the Cowboys. 48-12 to the Panthers. These are all losses. 44-18 to the Raiders. 20-15 to the Warriors. That was the one where the Warriors scored at the end, wasn't it? That one just...
That probably broke the season, to be perfectly honest.
Because prior to that, you'd beaten the Dolphins. You narrowly lost to the Raiders. Okay,
Roosters we just lost to as well. So I think O'Brien prided himself on being a defensive coach. And I think if you look at middle part of the season, we lost, but we were in most games. But I think the last 4 or 5 weeks, the defense has just gone to shambles. Our attack's been shit all year. So, like, he was never improving that, but our defense just fell away, and you could just tell like they need a new voice. It's going to be really interesting who they choose because the club can't go through another 4 years of crap. So the supporter base like myself has endured enough pain, and we just keep coming back for more because we're obsessed. But it'll be interesting. He's got 2 games to play out. Sharks away is hard. I think it'll be a cricket score. I think we'll get pumped.
We need it to be a cricket score.
Yeah, you do for your for and against.
Yeah, we need the for and against. So for us,
maybe the players will be a little bit, I don't know, not as much pressure, but I still think it's gonna be a tough ask at Shark Park. Like we've got only to play for is not a wooden spoon. Look, I think the Titans will collect that, but Sharks have got a lot more to play for than what we do.
Bit of coach pride, though, has got to be on the line, doesn't it? So,
look, I don't think he wants the spoon going out, but if you look at our last performances, like what's going to change? How are we going to score points, and then how are we going to stay in the contest into the last quarter of the game where we're just leaking points? Like it's turned.
Let's look at this. Let's look at this Knights team here. So, Dean Gagai, Dom Young, Bradman Best, these are players that we're familiar with. I guess it's the halves, really. So when I was doing the update on...
I wouldn't... I'm worried over the weekend is James Schiller's defence last weekend was abysmal. And Fletcher Hunt's young. So if I'm the Sharks, I know exactly where I'm going. I'm going after Schiller and I'm going after Hunt. And your middles. I think, remember the last preview we did, I was worried about you guys bashing us down the centre. Have a feeling you're going to bash us down again. So... Look, the halves can only do so much. Yeah, they're not great, but I just think you're going to attack us out wide, and your wingers and centers are pretty decent players. So let's see how we go. But I'm not expecting a tight contest, if I'm perfectly honest.
So last time out, it was a different set of halves completely. So, I always think when I go through and update these team lists, and I go look at them, oh, yep, 6 and 7 change over. You just can't be a competitive NRL team if you don't have a halfback, or you got multiple halfbacks, then you just don't have any. And I'm just not quaking in my boots at Jack Cogger and Jack Arthur, I can tell you.
No, and to be fair, like, it's been our issue all year. Like, who's our halves been? They've never been solid. They're chopping and changing. So, yeah, I wouldn't be shaking in my boots either, to be perfectly honest. So,
what does the team look like next year with Dylan Brown in it then?
I think the key is going to be whoever comes in as a coach in terms of what's the spine they settle on. So you've got Ponga, which will be 1. You've got Dylan Brown is either going to be a 6 or a 7. They are chasing, I think, Sandon Smith from the Roosters, who can play, they reckon, dummy half, but I wouldn't be surprised if they move 7. And then you have Brown at his natural position of 6. But then who plays 9? Because Phoenix Crosland they want to move him into a lock. So
Jaden Brayling. Yeah. Oh, he's moving on, isn't he?
No, he's going to the Raiders. Good pick up by Sticky.
The Raiders.
The Raiders for them. But there's some good young players.
You should take Nicho Hines at halfback in this team, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we probably would, actually. That's how desperate
he'd be pretty handy.
Yeah, he'd go all right. But we've got some good young players. Like, I think Thomas Kent.
Oh, you're coming second last. Good young players, my ass.
No, to be fair, Thomas Kent, up and coming. McEwen, good player. Needs to tidy up his defense, but great player. And then you've just got your Gaggais, your Youngs, and your Bests who will try really hard. Jacob Safidi will try hard too, but yeah, I think
Gaggai going around another year.
Yeah, he is, because they offered him unders, and then the fans really kicked up a stink. So he's got another year in him, which is good. And to be fair, he's actually probably been our hardest working player all year. Keeps giving a ton of effort. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the team looks like next year. But yeah, I wouldn't have many fears for this team against the Sharks, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, Dom Young can get a try though, can't he?
Yeah, Dom Young's great. Glad he's back. Didn't like.
How did that come about coming back? That was a bit weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit left field. I think he had a few issues with the Chooks in his defence, and I think the Chooks just didn't see the value in him. I think they did pay overs for him when he left Newcastle, because Newcastle didn't want to lose him, and he was in red hot form. So I think they paid overs. And then I'm pretty sure if you look at the Roosters this year, they've actually uncovered a lot of young players, and they've actually gone, holy moly, we need to probably start paying some. Well, and we don't need him. We need to start paying some of these younger players. So look, Dom Young's a great try-scoring talent. We need a bit of speed and a good carry out of the back. So welcome addition to the team, but without having really good middles and strong halves, there's only so much that he can really do.
I guess when we go look at the Sharks team in comparison, it just doesn't have the gaping holes or weaknesses in it that you look at the Knights team like, oh, yeah, this guy's inexperienced or not sure about this guy. It's a bit under strength though at the minute, the Sharkies. Like,
yeah.
You know,
look, you got your halves are settled. Fanua Blake, good middle. Brayley's probably been playing his best form all year out of 9. You're probably not. I don't mind Will Kennedy. I think he's okay, but he's not the most electric fullback you've got in the game. But he's Mr. Reliable.
Well, you'd argue if we did a combined 17, you'd argue Dane Gaggai gets in at fullback over Will Kennedy, really, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you on that. Control's solid. Mulatalo. And look,
you'd love Ronaldo Mulatalo.
We'd love Ronaldo Mulatalo.
How good is he as an opposition player watching Ronnie? And I know you don't mind a punt as a first-time try scorer, KL Hero Ronnie. You gotta love. Do you love Ronnie or do you hate him?
I didn't like him when he wanted to play for Queensland, but. No, he's a solid player. I think he's got the right level of aggression that you want in a player, and he just carries the ball hard. That's all you can ask for. And he finishes tries. There are two main things you look in terms of from a good outside back. They can finish, and do they take the tough carries out of your own 20 or 10? He does that in spades. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind him on our team. Probably don't have a salary cap for him, to be perfectly honest.
You'd take every single player on this team would make the Knights team in some way. except for Will Kennedy.
I don't think every player.
I think every player.
No, I don't think every player.
Except for Will Kennedy.
We did want Tom Hazelton, but I think that fell through.
I think Marine Hiroti even gets in ahead of James Schiller, doesn't he?
Yeah, I would say so.
So therefore, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 get in. Vanilla Blake, Blake Brayley, Rudolph, they all get in. Teague Wilton gets in. Cole Hoon would be somewhere in the team.
Talakai would. I'm not sure about if he'd get in the team. I'm not sold on Talakai.
Talakai, he's like the best bench player that exists.
Oh, that's a big call, Boldo. That's a very big call.
He's very good. He's very good.
I think in terms of, I think it'll be a pretty comfortable win by the Sharks, and obviously you're fighting for that kind of home final. I think top 4's out of reach, if I'm honest, for the Sharkies. I think it'll be pretty tough. But you want a home final, like that's where. And I always say this to you. I think a double chance is critical. So it's going to be pretty tough with no double chance. So you need a home final.
No, the Sharkies are a struggle. So, I guess we were talking about this on the Tuesday night show, and for those that missed it, we did do a deep dive into the ladder predictor. And since that show, obviously we had the result last night of 28-4 to the Bulldogs over the Panthers, which certainly doesn't do the Sharkies any favours.
No.
However, look, if the Sharks can put on a big score here, and they beat the Bulldogs, then we can overtake the Bulldogs. So then we're just relying on the Broncos or the Warriors dropping a game.
So you could still make top 4.
Still make top 4.
You need
one of the Broncos and the Warriors to drop a game. Now that would put us into.
Go.
Oh well, that would put us into likely 4th position, possibly even 3rd, but unlikely on 3rd. But possible 4th, so that we can then go down to the Raiders and try and take them on again for a first week finals match and try and revisit the glory of the 2016 week 1 finals match.
I was literally looking at the ladder and I was like, who would I like to play if I was in the top 4? I'd love to go down to Canberra. I would love to be 4th and have a crack at winning that game. The two teams I want to avoid these whole finals is Melbourne in Melbourne and the Panthers. Avoid the Panthers at all costs. Like, so everyone's writing them off.
If Melbourne win, we'll get to the Panthers. If Melbourne win, then I will have a new entrant on my halfback pyramid of bad halfbacks that have won the premiership, won't I? Like, you can't win.
Who's this?
Well, Hughes is injured. He's injured.
He's come back.
Is he going to come back?
Yeah, there's talk he'll be back for the finals. Who are you going to say is the halfback? Is it Wishart?
It's Wishart's the halfback.
Wishart's not a bad little player though. Handy little.
No, player. He would be up there with Shane Perry and Ben Hornby and Chad Townsend for the worst halfbacks if they were to win. So I guess, that's a critical in for the Storm if Jerome Hughes is. I wasn't sure.
There's Pezzett, who's a young player who's gone through a couple of ACLs. Who they really rate. I think he's played on the bench. So he could be another option. I'm pretty sure Jerome's back. They've been pretty cautious.
Yeah, they're saying round 27. Dislocated shoulder, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I've had it dislocated.
I think he'd be back. The only problem is if he comes back too early, the risk is he does it again, and then you're gone for the finals. Like if he repops it again, I remember the whole Benji during his career. Once you do a shoulder and you keep popping it out, it really stings because you keep getting injured. So, but you want to avoid Melbourne. I think Melbourne will likely get to.
You want to avoid Melbourne in week 3. So actually, you much prefer to play Melbourne week 1 if Hughes is. But it's tough. I know how it's heartbreaking going down to Melbourne and playing Melbourne in week 1 of the finals. Goodness me, it's brutal.
Yeah, and look, Sharks are usually pretty competitive against Melbourne, but I don't know. I just think Melbourne will get the hometown calls, like it's that fortress down in Melbourne. I just avoid them, and I would avoid the Panthers. At all costs. Even
though they've lost a whole bunch of matches and they look pretty tired. I guess they didn't rest their entire team last night, though, didn't they?
Well, you got to think about it. They've played 4 final campaigns all the way to the death in a row. their team is built for finals. Like they just now are going to flick a switch and go, you know what? The regular season, we don't care. We're likely to play a team in Sydney. So it'll be at a neutral ground. It'll probably be at Allianz, or it'll be at Combank Stadium.
Well, week one, they might play the Sharks at
Shark Park?
At Shark Park.
Yeah. That's the disaster. You don't want that. Avoid that at all costs.
I think the Sharks will improve against the Panthers from our last outing in the preliminary final, where their forwards were just too big for us. I think we're in a better place to be more competitive with them. That will certainly be the litmus test. But the Sharkies, we're a little bit injured compared to where we were on them. That's going to be certainly a tough ask.
I would rather play the Roosters. And I know
you definitely want to play the Roosters.
You obviously are not a huge fan of the Roosters, but you want the Roosters.
You definitely, Tim, we're coming for you.
The other one I don't mind, which probably everyone will be like, "Oh,
Warriors." You want the Warriors?
Yeah, and Brisbane. I think Brisbane are a bit up and down. I think a finals match at Suncorp. Sharks usually play pretty well up at Suncorp. You've got a pretty decent record. I wouldn't mind my chances. Or Newcastle have no chance against any team at the moment, but I wouldn't mind my chances if I'm Sharks. I would have a crack at Brisbane Warriors and Roosters. Avoid the Storm, like Bulldogs, Raiders.
I don't mind the Bulldogs.
Roosters.
I wouldn't mind playing the Bulldogs either. I don't think they're forward pack.
I agree. I
don't think they're big enough.
I think their half situation is a bit of a problem. I think Galvin's great talent, but you could even see against a depleted Penrith side last night. Like if Penrith had their full strength team, you'd probably
a bit more pressure on him, and
like so.
Very open. It's going to be it could easily be the Storm and the Panthers in this grand final again, couldn't it? Really?
Yeah. Look, maybe everyone's writing off Canberra. Like Canberra are likely to win the minor premiership, which is pretty phenomenal considering where they were last year, and they've got a lot of young talent that probably people didn't know they were going to break through this year. Sticky's done a really good job, but they're the ones who are going to have a home final. I think they'll have a home prelim too. I think they'll push to have a home prelim, if I'm honest.
Yeah. So the problem for the Raiders though is that in finishing first, you then have to, when it flips around, you have to play either the second or the third team. So whoever finishes in third is going to be a pretty handy team because they'll have come through winning all of their matches at the end. So it'll either, if the Bulldogs beat the Sharks, then the Bulldogs will be in pretty good form coming into that, and they'll fancy themselves to beat the Raiders, or they'll be facing, I don't know, it could be a Panthers team that's knocked off the Bulldogs and the Sharks coming into that. So it's not going to be plain sailing for the Raiders going into this finals. It could easily be heartbreaking for them.
But I think if you told them at the start of the season you'd be in the top 4 at this pointy end of the season and likely get a double chance, they would have taken it with 2 hands. Like
absolutely, they would have taken it.
They're like, and their form's been pretty good. But you know what? The beauty about September, everything resets. You go back to 0-0, and you just start a whole new season again. And it's the team that wants it the most, and it's the team that puts in the most effort wins at the end of the day.
Yeah, so if the Sharks can just win 4 matches in a row, which isn't impossible, but unlikely, then maybe we get a second.
Are you a good chance? I think you're
no,
for and against. Your for and against is ordinary.
All right, I'll ask you this question. How many simulations of the top 8 in 2025 would need to be run for the Sharks to win?
What do you mean?
10 times?
What do you mean?
So how many times do you have to run this? So you can run the final series and you simulate it. All right.
Well,
yeah. And you do it again. How many simulations would it take? Do they win 1 out of 10? Do they win 1 out of 20? How many? It gives you the real chance that you're giving us.
Wouldn't that be 1 out of 8?
Well, no, because obviously the Raiders are more of a chance to win than the Sharks because they're higher on the table.
I reckon, you know what? 1 out of 20?
1 out of 20. So a 5% chance.
Which is not bad.
It's higher than the Knights.
Well, the Knights got a 0 point, minus 1,000.
Higher than the Knights. All right. Well, the other pet subject, let's get you to ask this. Nicho, what's your take on Nicho Hines now?
What's my take on Nicho?
He hasn't had the greatest season.
No, he hasn't had the greatest season. But you're still fighting at the pointy end of the season. So you've got to be a decent enough half to steer a team around the park. So do I think he's the best half in the final series? No. Do I think he's the worst half? No. But the thing that worries me about Nicho is pressure in finals and his decision making. I think he can get rattled, and we've seen it before where teams will try and rattle him. So that would be my worry about Nicho. He's got to put the demons in the past, and he's just got to take a fresh approach. He seems like sometimes when he makes a few mistakes, it just snowballs, and then he just makes more errors. So, look, I think he's had an average-ish season. I wouldn't say it's been amazing, or I wouldn't say it's been terrible. But let's see how he goes in the finals. That's where halves make their name. That's where halves make their money. Like, deliver in September.
The big pressure matches.
All is forgotten.
All is forgotten. And that is the thing for the Sharkies, actually. They've had some down moments this season. They can get to week 3 of the finals by winning week 1 and week 2. All is forgiven, and then we're on. We're in the same position we were last season, and we've been as successful as we were last season. So
all you've got to do is, I say this to most people, is get to a prelim where you literally have a 1 in 2 chance of making a grand final, and then anything can happen on grand final night.
You say that, but I went to 8 consecutive prelim final losses, Adrian. It's years of heartache.
But at least you're a chance. You're dead set chance to make the final. So
you're giving us a slight chance, but you're not betting on us.
Who do you want to play? If you make it to the prelim, who do you want to play?
Panthers.
Who's your ideal? You want to play Panthers?
Yep, I want to knock the Panthers out, and I want to knock them out in the corresponding same game from this time from last year. Now, obviously, that is unlikely to happen because we might both be in the bottom part of the draw.
Yeah,
but I'd love it. I'd love a test for the Sharkies against the Panthers. How have we progressed since round 1 against them, where we lost in Las Vegas, and then how have we also progressed against them from the pressure match of last year when, the difference between the two teams really was the difference between Nicho and Cleary. Cleary wasn't offside with the kick that he did. It was really close. And Nicho's one, he had a pass that was borderline forward, but it was really close. Actually, it was 2 forward passes. So, yeah, Nicho's was, Cleary's wasn't. And that really was the difference between the two teams. Like, it really was tight. Panthers kicked away with it at the end. So, can the Sharkies reel that in? That's what we were hoping for. So, that it all starts this weekend against the Knights. And if we can't beat your lot, then we really are no chance.
Look, it's got to be a 13-plus scoreline, doesn't it?
It's got to be a 13-plus.
Got to be a 13-plus scoreline.
All right. So if you are going to go and bet on try scorers in this one because you think it's high scoring, who scores from the Knights when you're down by 40 points? Bradman best, Dom Young.
I would say, you're probably spot on. I think Young, being a winger, has probably got more chances of scoring a try. Has speed. And then I would say definitely Bradman best. Are your 2 chances? I don't think your back rowers are a chance, to be fair. Wouldn't it be nice?
Brazil might get one against his former club.
Potentially. Or Brayley. Wouldn't it be nice if Brayley gets one over his brother, down 40-0, scores a try? Wouldn't that be great for the family?
Well, at least it'd be one positive moment. It's a big day for Blake Brayley becoming the captain of the Sharks. I think he's the 59th or 60th captain of the Sharks.
I think they're because what was his name? Was it McGuinness? Did his ACL again? Yeah, the poor bugger. I think Brayley's a great little dummy half. I think his form's been electric this year, to be honest.
He has been very good.
However,
I would have liked Nicho to be the captain because if Nicho was the captain, it would have dictated that he was in better form. So
but if you're the coach, you're probably looking at it and going, do I need to put extra pressure on Nicho? I just need Nicho to go out. I just need Nicho to steer the team around the park, Nicho to make good choices. He doesn't need the captaincy. Like, give it to someone.
Maybe that gives him the confidence if he is the captain.
Yeah, but it's just adds extra pressure. Like, then you got to go.
Nicho Hines, he's got enough pressure as it is.
Yeah, then you got to go and do all the media once September kicks off the finals. You know what? Just let him be really simple game plan. Focus on what he needs to do. Go a long way to winning games. He doesn't need the captain. Mate, he's a captain. He steers the team around the park. He's the on-field captain. He doesn't need to be the referee, like going and chatting to the ref. Like, don't worry about that. Brayley will do a decent enough job. Like, let him just focus on footy.
Also helps re-sign Brayley and puts him in the spotlight a little bit more by making him the captain. So
Would you sign him another 4 years? Was it?
it's coming. It's in the works. So they're close to knocking that down.
How old is he?
He's pretty young. I don't know. He'd be 25, 26, something like that.
Yeah, he's a good. Everyone's looking for good 9s, and everyone's looking for good 7s, and there's none in the comp available.
Yeah. I think the quality of the 7s and 9s in this comp compared to past 5-10 seasons ago. If James Maloney was playing now, he'd be one of the elite halfbacks, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he would actually.
But he's not playing now. So just the quality of the halfbacks is a little bit down on where it was. So, all right. Well, why don't you give us a – yep.
I was just going to say, I think the halfback situation, because they're very system-based now. There's not a lot of flair in it. Remember the old chip and chasers?
All process, no thinking, Adrian.
That's it. Just go with gut instinct. Just go, what do I see the defensive line doing? I'm just going to have a punt here. Now it's all structure. So I think for halves, it'd be nice to just throw the rule book out and just go, you know what, I'm just going to go off instinct and not kind of stick to our formation or our set plays. I'd like to see that in the finals. I'd like to see some halves take the game on and go, you know what, let's just go away and let's just play what we see in front of us. So, yeah, Maloney was definitely that player because he'd put the ball out in the full, and then next play he'd obviously put someone through a hole and they'd score. So he was somebody who just he literally just played on instinct and didn't care what he did. So he was definitely a unique player in his era, that's for sure.
All right. Well, I assume you're going to tip a Knights loss, I guess. You're not going to be as brave and to say the Knights can win.
No, I wouldn't. I'm not going to tip the Knights. So I'm hoping it's a little bit closer than what I expect. So maybe we'll go 28-14. Sharkies.
Still Sharks 13+.
Yeah.
I predicted an all-time record scoreline.
Score?
I think the Sharks are going to break their all-time.
What's the all-time?
63 points.
You reckon they're going to score 64
We're going to put
points?
A score on you. We're going to
10 tries.
10 tries. You wait and see. The Sharkies, it's going to be an absolute day. Heard it here first on the ET Stand podcast, gang. Sharks needs to be a scoreline. I reckon we'll win by about 30, 40 points, but we'll see.
Terrible viewing.
One can hope. All right, that was Adrian, token Knights fan. Thanks for coming in, legend. It was always good to see you. Hopefully you're more relevant for us next season.
No, good luck with the season. I'll be watching the Sharkies from afar.
And sending me text messages when they lose.
It'll be all on that man, Nicho. All on him.
We believe in you, Nicho. All right, that was the opposition fan preview. Get down to Shark Park. The NRLW teams kicks off at 12. Main game's on at 2. Come on, Sharks. 2 more wins. Let's make the top 4 up Cronulla. Thanks, Adrian.
See you, mate.
For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite-level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated, more often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand Podcast.